So, Shane.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Hank's told me to put my arm around you. Go. Tonight is your night, bro.
Tonight is your night, bro. We always reference for some reason that movie Twins.
Yeah.
Doing a deep pull from Ivan Reitman's Fear. Yeah, I love that show.
That's a good one. I have
not
seen
just
that.
because I'm a twin. I just think DeVito is fantastic in just about anything. So
yeah.
Hey, everybody. So those of you who came here thinking, hey, we're gonna talk custom tools. If you have custom tools questions, give us a question. By all means, throw it out there. But we're putting that off till the 18th.
Give us a couple of weeks.
Yeah, we want more time for you to, submit any tools that you have built, that you use in your environment, that you're willing to share, and then also, get more people here that come on, throw it.
I want to make sure some good content for you guys because tools are amazing.
They are, and we didn't want to. We didn't want to just go out there half-assed. So we're gonna put it off to the 18th. But
it's questions today. So
yeah,
I'm going to start with the question: do you fish?
Not really, no.
You're going to try this year, though.
Okay.
On the boat, man.
Jared's been trying to get me to go fly fishing forever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and he actually just laid it down. He's like, "You're going this year."
You're just going.
I did when I was a kid, but I haven't. No. Anyway, how about IT related questions?
Oh, okay.
So that means Lex is now.
All right, I'm out.
Persona non grata. Go ahead and pound sand, man.
Alrighty, Steve is going to start us off today, guys. I support a school district, and we have about 9,000 Windows devices. I can't set up heartbeat too often because of the number of machines. Is there a way to set shorter heartbeat timer for a subset of machines, i.e. my students' computers, which go on and offline many times a day? Thanks in advance, Steve B.
That's a good question. I mean, the answer is no. The heartbeat is set globally. Pardon me. So, for that reason, no. But we've had questions that I don't remember a request like that where it's like, hey, I just want heartbeats to this subset of machines. We've had stuff like I want scheduled scans to only go to these subsets of machines, and we modified that. The schedules used to be global, but not the heartbeat. No,
could you do a network scan and run that? Because that goes out and runs a ping on these guys.
I guess the poor man's way of doing it is yes, you could have a scan that's set to go out on a fairly aggressive schedule just to those computers, because the heartbeat goes out by default every 5 minutes. Obviously, with 9,000, you've most assuredly increased that. But you could just have, if you want to show the screen, we can go over here to options, scan profiles. There's one that's it was a build. It looks like it's actually been taken down. Anyway, let's just do a new one right here, and you can just call this something like basic, and add just one scanner, and that would be like the computer details.
Yeah.
It's a very fast scanner, but that anytime we try to scan or touch a computer, free at no extra charge if that computer is online, we reach it, but you have a very a heartbeat interval that's maybe longer, then it would just automatically say that's online. If we can reach it, free at no extra charge. So you could just set that out to whatever collection. Go ahead and change the collection target there. So link to a collection, whatever those student computers you were talking about, and you have this set to run fairly aggressively, then it will show those online. That's a roundabout way of doing it. But as far as the native heartbeat, no. Thank you. You already earned your.
I'm done. I'm out.
Good call. Thank you very much, Lex.
All right, next one, guys. How would one preload PDQ Inventory with some host names and set a time for it to add/scan them the first time? Thanks, /Q.
Boy, some good questions.
Preload inventory with some host names.
Boy, if you're going to preload it, it's going to be tough. If you're going to preload it, you're going to. I can see messiness there because you're going to have to be doing some inserting into the computers table.
Yeah.
And there's so many relationships there that I would. Kobe, do you want to?
Oh, here, check this out, Shane. Let's say you made a list, import it.
Yeah.
You'd import
but
it.
That's
in.
not. He's talking about preloading. You're talking about loading post hoc. So I'd like to get what preloading means, like before you've installed the inventory and it opens for the first time, or you just want.
I was just thinking instead of you get when your initial install has you have one machine, and then you import. This is the list of machines I want it to hit.
Yeah,
run
it's still
that
you're
way.
still going to have to go. You're still going to have to do something. Do you want to say something, Colbs?
That's pretty much the direction I'm going. Is either synchronize with Active Directory, or if you're on like a work group or something, then import like a CSV file full of computer names.
Okay. Yeah. By the way, I certainly hope we've done a lot of content on it, but I certainly hope that if you're using Active Directory, that you really dug into the AD sync.
It is the best way to do it, by all means.
Especially
yes.
if you're in part of a larger organization, but only like your department uses the PDQ inventory, and you can't. It's really not an option, or you don't want to be able to try to grab all the computers in AD. You can just say, hey, I'm only going to import or sync up with this OU or this OU and a couple of these security groups or whatever. Or
So, yeah, we can go grab-
all OUs, but exclude this one. We don't want this one. So
We just want the new OUs container, boom, or,
yeah, there's just, I mean, you can make it.
Absolutely.
You can make it very, very tailored to your environment.
And as far as scheduling a time, that's definitely something you can do with triggers.
Thank
he
you very
said.
much, Colbster. You're right. Then thank you very much. But as far as I guess I was thinking preloading, like you've just installed it and you want to have those when you open it up already in there. It'd get kind of messy. I mean, it doesn't actually create the database until the program opens up, and then it instantiates the
Yeah.
call to create it. So there's not a database unless you're upgrading. Anyway, I guess I'd need to have broken down into finer sections. All right.
Okay, next one. In PDQ Deploy, I occasionally will put a computer in the target filter exclusions list by host name. However, I frequently find that packages will still try to deploy to those machines. I'm guessing it may be because it sees an older DNS record for the host name, but still, if I exclude a host name, I really want it to be excluded. Is this by design? Is there a different solution? From Stephen J. from Texas. He wanted us to know he's from Texas.
Hey, how's it going, Stephen? Boy, those exclusions are usually fairly airtight. But if you've got a completely different host name that's changed, I can see that being an issue. I'm not sure if you've used wildcards. You might want to consider doing wildcards, or if there's just specific computers. But I mean, you can do IP addresses, you can do host names, you can do subnets if you want.
Yeah.
And of course, you can use wildcards. So if all of your servers, if you just don't want to do servers and all your servers begin with SVR, then you could do an SVR splat, add that, and then anything that begins with SVR, the deploy you can still have it as a target in a deployment, but it will just come back with an error saying this has been excluded. If you're, you know what, Stephen, send us some more information.
Send us a screenshot of what you've excluded, and then send us a screenshot of, showing that it actually got deployed to. I do at this moment want to take a moment and say, hey, if you're working with inclusions, guys,
Yeah.
I wouldn't do. I mean, okay, it better be I am including just these, because anything outside your inclusions will not play. So.
Correct. Yeah.
So-
The few use cases I've ever seen where someone uses it, it's like they might say
It's a
the only
subnet
computers
usually.
I ever want to deploy to begin with WS for workstation. So you would do an inclusion for WS splat, and then maybe like a notebook or something like that. You also see LT. If those are if any computer will necessarily begin with WS or NB, and those are the only ones you want, that's when you would use inclusions.
Yeah.
But
Just be careful on those.
it's probably one of the least used.
What takes
features.
precedence if you have an exclusion that goes or that qualifies, and you have an inclusion?
They both have to be true.
Which one takes the
So if you include NB and you exclude NB, I'm almost positive NB will not take the.
It'll be excluded at
Yeah,
that point,
it'll be
yeah.
excluded. If either
so
of those.
exclusions take
Yeah, if in that case, if there's crossover, then I should say they both have to pass a test. If one fails a test, then that can be a little tricky. If you're especially if you're playing with subnets. Do you want to show them how to exclude a subnet, Lex?
Absolutely.
Go for it.
Exclusion. So
it's not an or, it's an and.
But for the most part, people only use inclusions or exclusions. They
Right.
generally don't use both.
There you go. Subnet
Thank you very much.
/24.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, only if we want it to work after this on that subnet. So
But that it's not uncommon for someone to say, hey, I've got these kind of high end computers, or just my engineers are here and that they don't want to be messed with. In that case,
You put your
instead of
servers on a
just-
separate
yeah,
subnet.
If you've done that type of planning, props, but then you don't have to worry about chasing host names and IP addresses. You can just exclude entire subnets.
Also, just real quick,
Yeah.
the manual does have a section for target filters about the order of operations.
Oh, very nice.
Cool. So if
So did-
one's
did we
included and one's excluded, it should not work, right? To me, it's
The text is probably a bit long here, but it basically says it checks inclusions first, then exclusions.
okay.
Cool.
Interesting. All right.
Ready for another one?
Thank you. Yeah, sure.
I have an installer with no silent parameters that has to be handled with an AutoIt automation, and it has to run as deploy user interactive. Is there any way to have deploy actually log on my deploy user so that this can run seamlessly? Sincerely, your dearest darling is Kathleen F.
Hi, Kathleen. Yeah, I am familiar with some of those installers that require the deploy user interactive. That means that yes, that means that it's expecting a desktop. If it needs to be from that user, not from deploy, but you would at that point, unless you want to pipe in here, Colby or Lex, if there's a particular user you need, if it's like a kiosk machine, then you should have it automatically log on with a particular user. But if you need to do that, no, there's really not a way for deploy to try to initiate a logon.
Will you pop that question up again? So, deploy user interactive, could you kick off auto hotkeys under deploy user interactive? Because I'm thinking you might be able to do that, kick off auto hotkeys. Because, Stephen, we got a webcast on how to use auto hotkeys. I was thinking maybe that would do it. Any thoughts, Colby?
It's been a while since I saw that webcast, but I did just link it in the chat, and so I don't know if there might be more details in there that are helpful.
Check that out. That's how I would at least go down the path to find out if you can.
Yeah, sorry, Kathleen. We've had customers that have gone back to application vendors to say, hey, you've got some requirements here that don't really make sense, especially for how to use the application. Can you modify that? And some of them will say, well, we made it silent. Yeah, but you made it silent where it requires a particular desktop, and that's silent-ish. Yeah, there's a lot of background noise there. So sorry about that, Kathleen.
I'll drink to being stumped on that. Yeah, I'll drink to pretty much anything.
Alrighty, guys. What is the quickest way to see how many computers are already done in a heartbeat? It's a bit cumbersome to open each schedule to the Target History tab to get an overview. And how do I see if a scheduled deployment is completely done, all machines patched? By the way, what's the procedure to suggest new packets for the packet library?
Writing these package.
It's kind of a multi-part question there, guys, from Roman S.
The quickest way to see how many computers are already done in a heartbeat. Well, if you want a really, really fast way, I guess there's a. Go ahead.
I'm just going
You
to
can go to you can go to online. There's computer. I think it's computer online. If you want to do a SQL query, I think it's computer online is true. Is a way to get just a total number of whatever's online. Well, again, there was too many. You need to put that back up there.
Yeah, they were talking about schedules. They want to see how many targets in a schedule have completed the schedule.
How many targets in a schedule?
without going to that.
Yeah, without having to
deployment.
like open up each, going to each schedule and going to the target history tab.
Could you look at all deployments and see it there?
Well, I think that doesn't fit the question from Roman, is because you have to go down to each of those deployments to see. I mean,
Yeah,
you can see which ones were successful, which ones failed.
I think you'd have
Might
to
need
use a SQL on that. I mean, I don't think there's any real easy way to display that I can think of.
Per schedule, you can have deployment set out. Like you can have those reports sent out saying, "Hey, this schedule was kicked off at this time, and here's what was successful." But a central place because the schedule is going to have multiple deployments most likely. I mean,
Yeah.
you're going to have a schedule that kicks off here, but if it's a fairly aggressive schedule, you're looking at several deployments.
Right, but I think what they're trying to get is, let's say I have 90 targets on my schedule, and only 85 of them have kicked off, have been successful so far. They want like a quick way to see there are still 5 that haven't deployed on this one.
Well, if you go to, I don't think we have a schedule set up here. Don't forget, when you're setting up a schedule, you can go to the target history and filter based off of that. You can quickly see in the target history of that schedule which machines have been successful. And this is really helpful if you've got your stop deploying to targets once they succeed. Then the target history you can filter out and say only show me the ones that haven't succeeded yet.
So other than going to each schedule, there's really not a way to easily see that.
yeah, that's what they're doing right now. My
So
suggestion
you're gonna have, then you're going to need to use a SQL query.
My suggestion would be to use inventory
Mm-hmm.
and set up collections for all your software for whatever you're doing. And then the way that you see if there's anything that still needs to be hit is you check all your collections.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah,
I mean, that's if you look at the collection library, going here to Chrome, we see that in the Chrome old. Are you showing that? Yeah, in the Chrome old, you've got 20 computers that have an older version and one that is the latest.
And as they scan and get updated, they'll move.
Mm-hmm. So just you can use the filters in the collection library as kind of a cheat sheet for the applications that aren't covered in the collection library, and just build that saying, hey, just show me these computers that I think that when it comes down to it, the real ask is I need to know which computers need to get patched. So
Inventory.
Approach it from an inventory point of view, where you're saying, show me all the computers that are below this version of the software. And don't forget to use variables. That way you don't have to keep on updating a million collections every time a new application version comes out.
All right, guys. Newbie here. Love your products, just scratching the surface. Likely not under the domain of your products, but do you have a way of deleting old user accounts from network workstations? Thanks, Angel M.
So I guess a follow-up question is, do you want to delete the accounts, or so they're local accounts, or do you want to delete the profiles from accounts that have logged on? If you want to delete accounts and they're local, I'm interested to know why you're using local accounts as opposed to domain. But yes,
Well, that's maybe why they're deleting them. They're gone to domain accounts and they're getting rid of their locals. I don't know.
you could, I mean,
PowerShell it.
yeah, but you could script it and say, hey, these are the local accounts that are permitted, and anything that's not in this list I want to delete.
Mm-hmm.
You could also do that. You could also do that in a for loop in a command in just a command shell.
That's true.
But you're going to want to, if you're talking about that now, if you're talking about profiles, it's kind of the same thing. You're going to want to script it to go out there and delete those profiles. But when you say account, sometimes people will say, I want to know how to delete the profile because I see this history for 3 years of all these
everybody's ever
accounts
logged
that have
in
ever
this
logged
machine,
on,
yeah.
and it's getting a little cumbersome. So if you're talking, I'm not sure if you're talking accounts or profiles.
You know, if it was me, I'd do both. If you're going to get rid of the local account, get rid of the profile that matches it. Script it.
I remember they used to have an old utility called delprof. You guys remember delprof?
Delete profile, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I've heard people talking about that
It's been I think delprof was deprecated a long time ago, if I recall. Yeah. There's another utility out there that people like to use to cleanly wipe away profiles, because it's not just, there's a lot of references to those profiles.
Oh,
it's not
absolutely.
just deleting that user's directory. There's a lot involved. But I think delprof was deprecated years ago. Anyway,
People still use it, though,
yeah.
from what I understand.
Well, deprecated just means, especially in Microsoft land, this has been deprecated. We're not adding anything else to it.
Yeah.
I mean, the net.exe was deprecated
on it.
years and years ago, and it
Yeah.
still works. So,
Like, we made it in 2002, but if it works in 2019, have at it.
what's the
Another
next
question?
Alrighty, guys. Is there a PowerShell script available that turns off IE11 feature? Thanks, Thomas T.
Oh, I'm sure there probably is.
I would be careful on that. I mean,
Well, first of all, number one, available, I guess, maybe available, I don't know. Built, I'm sure there is one out there. Do you know of one that disables not even specifically I-11 feature, but any other feature?
Chris James actually built one for this, and I just posted it in the chat. So
very nice.
thank you, Chris.
So, Colby for the win, Chris for the win. So Thomas, check. You posted it at the webcast. You said to the bonus
In the chat.
in the chat. Okay, there you go. Here's a long one.
All right. I've set up automated installs for newly imaged machines. Fog drops in specific OU. Inventory adds to dynamic collection. Deploy schedule checks dynamic collection every minute and deploys a laundry list of apps for any new machine. However, if I image a machine with the same host name as a previously imaged machine, Deploy thinks it already succeeded in the installs and doesn't redeploy. How can I circumvent this behavior? Thanks, Joshua W.
Right here.
And what you're going to want to do? Go ahead.
Right there.
Okay, that's okay. That's okay. So you can uncheck that, but there's actually a better way of doing it. There's a couple of ways. Number one, you're talking about the target history. So if you have a lot of schedules, you don't want to have to go through the target history, look for those that computer name that was
There to delete it.
yeah, use it and delete it. There is a way of open up a command prompt or SQL, and you can just do. You got to be careful about this, but you can do a delete of all target schedules where the target name equals this,
yeah.
and then it will just traverse all schedules and delete that. So you kind of have to stay on top of it. Hey, I know that computer A is now been re-imaged. So if you want, we can make some suggestions for this or give you some examples, but you would effectively do it that way.
And ultimately, if you go back to the options chain, that if you take the checkbox off, stop deploying to targets once they succeed. Once those machines are done imaging, if you move them from that OU so they don't get hit or get removed from that dynamic collection,
Then it won't be a target anymore.
You pretty much, it's not a target anymore, and it's done until you end up throwing it back in there again, and it'll get hit again. So,
but there is actually, but no, I forgot we added this feature a while ago. So you can go to one computer in target history, select that computer. This button should then become enabled and just say delete from all schedules. So actually, I do remember adding that now. So you can select that and just say, hey, computer A, just delete from all schedules so that you don't have that problem. But you have to just go into target history. If you don't want to run the SQL command, just do that. That is how you get around that problem.
Alrighty, guys. In inventory scan status, I typically have several machines that are stuck at returning data for several days until I right-click them and abort the scans. Is there a better way to handle these? Perhaps set a time out of some sort somewhere? Thanks, Tyson B.
Please submit that one. Every now and then, I'm not sure if you're using the agent or not, but there are times, there are some bugs that have popped up throughout the years. It's actually a bug in the console. Doesn't say whether it's a deploy or inventory. There's been some history where it's in that weird status. Sometimes just closing and opening the product will take care of that. But please submit that to us. Chances are it's actually not trying to scan. It's just that connection was lost somehow, and the console hasn't cleared it out.
check for updates. Make sure you got the latest version of inventory, and then obviously submit that.
Yeah, submit that. But we've tried to stay on top of those. That's what I ask, seriously, because it could be that you've uncovered a new problem. Cool. All right, rock on, everybody. Hey, thanks for checking out. Don't forget, submit any custom tools that you've built. Those who submit to get presented, we will send out some swag if we present them. But if you do submit them, please give us don't just send us a script. Tell us
what you use it for.
Tell us how you use it. We want some context. And, of course, your name. And if you want to throw a picture out there, then if we present that, you'll get some props and some swag. And check out the 18th is when we're gonna do the custom tools. So, hey, everybody, thanks for checking out. Good luck on Patch Tuesday forthcoming.
Rock on.
Yeah, rock on, everybody.
Alrighty, everybody, thanks for joining our webcast show this Thursday morning. So the results of our Final Four in the Mad Marchness bracket are as follows. 4th place, anything to do with printers. 3rd place, Yes, I rebooted. Didn't really reboot. Second place, hey, you got a sec? First place, the most annoying thing thus far is an error pops up, they close it. What did it say? I don't know. So, we're going to take the first and second place there, and we're going to do a championship round and see what is the most annoying, frustrating thing that you can be asked as a sysadmin. And then, on top of that, for our swag winners today, we've got Angel M, Stephen J, Steve B, and Joshua W. So you four go ahead and send your info to webcast@pdq.com. Let us know what swag you'd like and where to send it, and we'll get that out to you. Everyone else, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.